Okay, so when you hear the word Nepal, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, right, it's the breathtaking majesty of Mount Everest, or maybe the serene birthplace of Gautam Buddha. But right now, on the streets of its cities, there's this profound struggle unfolding, and it's being led by its youngest generation. And they're fighting for a very different kind of summit, a future that's finally free from corruption. So yeah, let's get into this. And this, right here, really gets to the heart of the story. You've got this incredible nation on one hand, just bursting with culture and history and pride, but on the other hand, a deep, deep struggle against a system that's been absolutely plagued by corruption, nepotism, and, let's be honest, incompetent leadership. It's this paradox that has been defining the country for decades. So, this is where we have to start, with what the source material calls a nation's paradox. You see, for generations, the Nepali people have sacrificed so much for change, for democracy, but that core promise of good, honest governance, well, it's always remained just out of reach, a dream that just hasn't been fulfilled. And listen, we are not just talking about a few bad apples here. The source describes this crisis as systemic. I mean, corruption has seeped into basically every level of society. Public resources are treated like personal piggy banks for the powerful, and honest, hardworking citizens, they get sidelined again and again because of favoritism. And the result? Well, public trust in the country's institutions has just been completely shattered. But, out of this deep, simmering frustration, a powerful new force is rising up. It's Generation Z, and they are taking their fight from social media hashtags right to the streets. So who exactly is this generation we're talking about? Well, they're the first truly digital natives. They grew up with the internet in their pockets, and that unprecedented access to information, to connection, it's given them a completely different perspective, a whole new set of tools, and a very different sense of what's possible compared to older generations. And let's be clear, this isn't some movement for personal gain or for one political party over another. No, it's built on a foundation of universal values: justice, equality, basic human rights, and good governance. They're not just thinking about the next election cycle, they are fighting for the long-term, fundamental transformation of their entire society. This quote, pulled right from the source, it just captures their mindset perfectly. We can no longer be deceived. I mean, what a powerful collective statement. It's a declaration that the old ways of doing politics, all the empty promises, the culture of corruption, it's over. The patience has simply and completely run out. But this fight for a new future, well, it's coming at a terrifying cost. Because as this peaceful movement has grown and gained momentum, the state's response has become more and more violent. And the cost has been just tragically high. 19. That's the number of young people who have been killed. These are students, the future of the nation, paying the ultimate price for doing nothing more than demanding accountability. And the tragedy, it just extends beyond that. Over 450 others have been injured, a lot of them critically, overwhelming hospitals during what were supposed to be peaceful demonstrations for justice. And just so we're absolutely clear, this isn't just a case of excessive force. The source describes the shooting of unarmed students, some in their school uniforms, as a crime. It violates Nepal's own constitution and international human rights laws, which puts the country's global reputation at very serious risk. But it is so vital to understand that this movement is so much more than just anger and protest. They have a clear, articulate, and really ambitious plan for what needs to come next. Let's take a look at their 5 core demands. Okay, so what they're demanding is nothing less than a total system reset. First, dissolve the current parliament. Second, all lawmakers must resign, together. Third, hold the officials who ordered the violence accountable immediately. Fourth, form an interim government to oversee serious reforms. And finally, number 5, hold swift and fair elections. It's a complete roadmap for systemic change. And of course, with a demand for a new system comes the search for new leaders. This trend, Dear Balan Shah, take lead now or never, has been gaining huge momentum on social media. The youth are looking to figures like Balan Shah, he's the popular independent mayor of Kathmandu, and others who are seen as being outside the corrupt political establishment, to really guide the way forward. So all of this, it brings us to the final and most critical point of this whole situation. The source argues that Nepal is truly at a crossroads. It's facing a choice that is going to define its future for generations to come. And the two paths ahead, man, they could not be more different. Path 1 is just more of the same, a descent deeper into the darkness of corruption, oppression, and division. But Path 2, the one Gen Z is literally fighting and dying for, that path leads toward a new era, an era of good governance, transparency, and a future of shared prosperity. But here's the thing, the youth cannot do this alone. The source makes a really powerful argument that for this movement to actually succeed, it has to become a collective campaign. Everyone, intellectuals, artists, teachers, journalists, just everyday citizens, both in Nepal and abroad, everyone must stand with them. Which leaves us all with this final, powerful question. With everything at stake, will an entire nation find the courage to rise up with its youngest generation? The answer won't just shape the future of Nepal, it's going to tell all of us a great deal about the power of a generation that simply refuses to be deceived any longer.